Personal log, celestial date 218.238.12. I watch as Brennan walks out of the cantina, and I'm kind of flummoxed by what just happened. I saved his life in that mine, and he seemed grateful enough, but in addition to not knowing anything about where I could find the raiders, he just doesn't seem to want to interact with me anymore at all. I have a little bit of a lead. I'm looking for someone named Mainframe, but I don't know who this person is, where to find him or her, and I'm a little bit stuck on looking for these raiders and the relic that they've stolen. Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Starforged Alpha Cluster. We are with Krista, our main character. In the last session, she got to the bottom, the end of the mine tunnel and got to a deep mine shaft with a spiral ledge going down and down and down. And in it, she saw three men lying in a cloud of superheated steam that was coming off of the machine that they used to drill the idolium, perhaps because the idolium had sort of caught in fire inside this machine. And so she managed to get out her rope and hammer in some pitons and rappel down into the bottom of the shaft, taking some heat exhaustion as she went, but sticking it out. And she got down there and she tied a second rope to the two men who were unconscious, but Brennan was conscious and he was able to climb up onto her back and link his arms around her shoulders, and she was able to climb back up after, again, a little bit more heat exhaustion. And they managed to get back to the surface, and they dragged the other two men up. And as they were pulling them out of the mine, the mommy magma cyclops here, who was in the nest, came running out, and they got into a fight, which, again, Krista didn't want to hurt it, so she tried to distract it. She tried to pick it up. She eventually knocked it out by hitting it on the head, put it back in the nest. And then they went back to Dead Rock, where she fulfilled her vow to save Brennan, and she asked him where she could find the raiders. And it turns out he doesn't know where she can find them. And instead, he told her a little bit about the faction of these raiders. And they're actually called the Shattered Federation. They range across human space, and their goal, I guess, is conquest. They want to control all of space. And they have a bunch of clan chiefs in each sector. We don't know exactly what their projects are, but they banish disloyal people, and they have recently suffered a destructive sabotage from within. And the sabotage was done by someone who's only known as Mainframe, who was probably some sort of a computer technician for them, and somehow betrayed them, leaked information, whatever, and was banished from their community. And so Krista now knows that her job is to find Mainframe. And that is what she's planning to do, but we really don't know anything about where Mainframe is, and so she's going to have to start trying to pick up some information about this character. We finished by trying to make a connection with Brennan, but we rolled a miss, and that means that we were not able to make a connection with him. So, before we continue, I do want to mention one thing, and I don't know if I made a mistake on the initial move with it, but if we look at our assets, the Lore Hunter, we swear an iron vow to recover valuable knowledge. We can re-roll dice. When we reach a milestone, we get pluses, and I've been talking about that and that we get to do that, but we don't get to do that because the actual vow is only a dangerous vow. So we can't do that. I hope I didn't have to re-roll any dice. If I did, then that was a mistake. But and speaking of mistakes, I made one in the last episode as well. But we won't be able to use our ability because it's only a dangerous and not a formidable vow. Although I'm starting to wonder if we should upgrade it to a formidable vow just because we have to find Mainframe and all of this. But I think we're just going to leave it this way and see how things go. And we've had terrible, terrible luck on our bonds. We have no bonds. We got 9 progress with Rowena and scored a miss, I think, on the bond. Or no, a weak hit. So she's only going to be a bond for us if we complete this vow. We made a connection with Dagger, but we don't really have any progress with her, and we tried to make a connection with this guy whose life we saved, and nothing. Um, I do want to make a couple comments about the game system. I think that there are several issues I find with it. I feel like make a connection, right? Roll plus heart. It ought to say in here something like if you just completed a quest for somebody or saved their life, get +1. That I don't think still would have saved us. I think we rolled so badly we still would have missed. But I feel strange that you don't have any ability to get a bonus on making connection when you've done something for somebody, right? We met him by climbing down into a mine shaft at the risk of our own life and saving his life and the lives of the two guys that he went down there, and then protected him from the magma creature as we left the caves and brought him back here. And after all of that, we don't get to make a connection with him. That seems a little strange. Again, the dice can always go against you, but I guess I come from a more classical role-playing perspective where having done something amazing like that in a normal game like Savage Worlds or D&D would give you, like in D&D, roll with advantage because you just saved this guy's life. In Savage Worlds, it'd be roll with +2 or something because you just saved this guy's life. And so it just seems a little strange that there's no bonus to that at all. Again, you could still roll double tens and fail, and we rolled badly enough that a little +1 probably wouldn't have helped. But it just seems odd that there's like no bonus to this, even though we just saved this guy's life. Anyway, that's just a comment about the game system. What we have to do now is figure out what Krista's going to do in terms of being able to gather information and figure out where mainframe is. And I think what Krista's going to do is go back to her ship. She's a little tired and so on. And I also think she should. So is there a sojourn here? So let me just. Here we go. Sojourn. So we spend time recovering in a community, roll plus heart. So what she's going to do is. I guess she's going to sojourn here to get her health and her supply back up. And so she's going to stay in the place in this place for the day and rest. She's still tired and thirsty from being in all the heat of the mine shaft. And so so I think she's going to sojourn here, and that's like the first thing she's going to do. And then after she gets a good night's sleep and everything, she's going to start doing some research and see, now that she knows the name mainframe, see if she can come up with any like Weave news articles or something. And she's going to watch some Weave dramas in her ship. These are kind of like daytime soaps, and she gets them from like sort of the Weave communications and so on and so forth. And we'll do a sojourn. And we get a weak hit. So it's safe, but time is short or resources are strained. You and your allies may make one recover move. Heal, hearten, repair, or resupply. I guess she'll heal. Mend your own wounds. Instead of rolling, assume an automatic strong hit. Okay. So her health comes back. She recovers. And now she's going to do her research the next morning. So Krista collapses on her bed for the night. She sleeps it off, exhausted. She gets up early the next morning, refreshed. She goes into her, let's go to the map of the ship. She goes into the mess and she goes here into the mess hall and to the food processor, and she gets herself some food and the refrigerator down here. This is the refrigerator. Get some water, and she's refreshed. And now she's going to go back into the bridge to the computer here and she's going to start seeing if she can look up Weave News, and she's going to see if she can find any information about this thing, this person named Mainframe, and about the this faction, the Shattered Federation. So we're going to have to make a gather information move, I believe, here. Right? She is searching for clues, conducting an investigation. So she's going to gather information and see if she can learn anything about Mainframe. We get a weak hit, so the information provides new insight but complicates it. So we take +1 momentum, we're back up to 2, and we need to envision what happens. Now, I feel like the story clue is actually more for strong hits with a match. I guess not. So let's roll story clue and see what it gives us. It involves a notable faction. Well, obviously, it involves the Shattered Federation or whatever this is, right? The Shattered Federation. So, okay, yeah, it involves the Shattered Federation, but what is it? Like, what do we find out about Mainframe? Do we get maybe? So we got a weak hit. Do we get maybe a revealed aspect or a first look? Maybe we get one of those. So is it a revealed aspect or a first look? Let's say 50-50, I guess. Is it a revealed aspect? Yes. All right. So we're going to reveal an aspect of Mainframe. And what we find out is gifted. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. So she finds out that Mainframe is a very gifted what? A gifted computer programmer, right? So she's a gifted, let's say a gifted hacker. And so if she's a gifted hacker, she's gifted. Does this mean, remember, we have in our world truth that there are these basically superhumans who've been genetically engineered to do things like be an AI of a ship, or run the weave, or be people who put augmentations onto others. Is she one of these paragons, quote unquote, right? I mean, I think that's what we call them. If we look here, right? Is she one of the paragons? Might she be an adept? I think that's very strong probability. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it's almost certain that she's a paragon. Is she? Yes. Okay. So she's a gifted hacker. She is a paragon. Maybe an adept. So she finds a story that this person is a superpowered being. Now this is to complicate our quest a little bit. This Mainframe is probably going to be hard to find. But in the weak hit here, it says it provides a new insight, but it complicates our quest. So what's the complication? Well, if she's that gifted a hacker, she's going to be really hard to find. And I have to confess, I'm kind of stuck here. Narratively, I'm not sure where the heck we would look to find this. So these adepts serve kind of like AIs, right? So let me think about this. So, all right, does the story that she's got include at least a hint that she's in this sector? I think that that's likely, because otherwise, how would Brennan have known about her if she was from another sector. So I think it's, or him. For some reason, I'm picturing Mainframe as a girl, but I don't know. Uh, Mainframe, no, the knowledge of Mainframe only makes sense if Mainframe was at least in the sector at some point. I think that's likely. What's going on here? Why did it not roll? Come on. There we go. So yes, she's in the or he is in the sector. So Mainframe is in the sector, but we don't know where. Um, so I think Krista's first move is going to be to check all the settlements. And that makes the most sense, and see if she can figure anything out. So she knows there's a gifted hacker named Mainframe who's probably in this sector, or at least used to be. And so she's going to get out and go back into Dead Rock, and she's going to head down the hall and go back to the cantina, and she's going to go back to the barkeep because they seem to get along okay, and she's going to hand him some credits and ask for a drink, another Forge ale, and and let's try to make a connection with him. So she's going to say to him, "So what's your name anyway?" So if we forge the connection, then he'll give her a name. If we don't, and we'll make up a character, right? If we don't, he's just going to say, here, take your ale and leave me alone, right? So let's try to make a connection. And we roll. Strong hit. We create the connection. We give him a roll and a rank whenever the connection aids us. Okay, so obviously we have a roll for this guy. So let me start making him up, and I'll bring you guys back. All right, so we have our bartender here. Let's get him a name, and actually he's got a call sign, and that's what he's gonna give her first. And his call sign is Dash. Okay, and he says you can call me Dash, and his location is Dead Rock, and let's just go ahead and put that in here. So his location is Dead Rock, and his role. So let me pause it here while I look at what the most obvious role for a bartender would be. I guess merchant makes the most sense. We don't know what his goal is. Let's do our first looks. And at first glance, this guy is flashy and ill-equipped. And so we're not going to reveal any aspects yet. That's just sort of the way, how it is first. And so let me set him up as a connection, and I'll bring you back. All right, we have Dash set up here. I think his rank is going to be troublesome. I like their rank is sort of how helpful you think they can be. I don't know how helpful he'll be outside of this setting. But so we now have a connection with Dash. And so let's see. To develop our relationship, swearing a vow, completing a quest, giving them something, sharing for a moment, standing with them, a test. So we're not doing any of that yet. But what she's going to do is she's going to say, hey, listen, Dash, I've got a question for you. I've heard there's some stuff going on with a group called the, what are we called? The Shattered Federation. And somebody who's working for them called Mainframe. Do you know anything about this? So does he know anything, and is he going to be able to tell her anything? I think we're going to use Cure and Advantage here, right? She's, or do we want to use Face Danger? I don't think Compel works, right? Because Compel is just charming, but we don't know if he knows anything or not. Well, let's go ahead and do Compel, and we'll see if he knows anything or not afterwards. So she says, can you, she slides him an extra credit. And she says, what can you tell me about this Mainframe and their relationship to the Shattered Federation. And so, let's see what happens. Roll heart. And we get an opportunity. So he's going to agree to it, and we get an opportunity. So I think he definitely has heard about this, and is the opportunity that he knows where mainframe was sort of last seen or something like that. I think that's likely. Yes. So he says, "Come over here," and he kind of like makes her come down the other end of the bar where there are less people, and he says, "I don't know why you're asking about that, but you know, a lot of powerful people are involved with the Shattered Federation around here, and so you should be careful what you say and how loudly you talk." And she says, "Well, Dash, I'm trying to help somebody, and that person needs me to." She kind of rolls her eyes a little bit and interact a little bit with the Shattered Federation. And he pales and says, "You're not going to join up with them, are you?" And she says, "No, no, not that kind of interaction. Kind of a more negative interaction for them." And so Dash says, "Okay." Well, he says, "So you were asking about mainframe. I've heard of them, and I know where they were seen recently. So, where were they?" Um, I don't know. So let's ask the Oracle. Were they on one of the existing settlements? I don't know. 50-50. No. So they weren't on one of the existing settlements. So that means that this person was somewhere else. So is there another settlement here, or is it something else? Let's roll descriptor and focus and see if that gives us an idea of where outside of the settled places in this sector this character might be. And we get undiscovered void. I mean, well, that is like super awesome, right? I mean, where else? The undiscovered void. So somewhere out in the undiscovered void out here. Um, so what he's heard, I think, is that mainframe is not on any of the settlements, but is hiding on his or her own ship out in outer space. Could it be? I mean, I'm super excited to try derelicts. Could it be that mainframe is hiding out on a derelict somewhere in the undiscovered void? I think that's such a cool idea that I'm going to say it's almost certain, because I really like this idea. So let's try it. I'll give it a random chance that it's not. But is this person hiding out on a derelict? Yes. So what he says is that there's apparently a derelict out in the void, not in any star system, or at least not in any settled star system. And this derelict is where mainframe is hiding to avoid the Shattered Federation. And this is just a rumor that he's heard, and he doesn't like repeating it because he doesn't want mainframe to get caught by the Shattered Feds. But Krista promises, "Look, I'm not gonna hurt mainframe. I just want to get information." So now the question is there maybe a connection between this bartender Dash and mainframe? Does Dash actually personally know mainframe and maybe care about mainframe? Maybe they're friends? I don't know. 50-50? Are they friends? No. Um, so he's not going to ask her to swear a vow about it or anything, but he's just going to say, "Okay, well, just don't get mainframe caught by the Shattered Federation." And so if it's not mainframe he's worried about, is is the Shattered Federation somebody that Dash has a problem with? Like, personally? I don't know, 50-50. Does he have a beef with them personally? He doesn't. So, okay, he's sort of neutral about that. Um, so unfortunately, I don't have any. He's a connection, but I don't see any way to get things to move up because he's not uh, asking her to do any vows or anything. So, so I guess he's given her the information. He's a connection for now. Maybe there'll be a vow to do with him later. But now she's got to find this derelict. So what do we know about the derelict? All right, this is going to take me a minute because I haven't done these before. So let me pause. All right, so derelicts are kind of like delves. We don't know much about it, but let's see. Is it a? We know it's in deep space, so I think we're gonna just. So it's in deep space in the Chronos Tide sector. Okay. So what type of derelict is it? It's in deep space. We're going to make a roll, and this will tell us if it's actually an abandoned settlement, not a starship. So this was some sort of a community that was created and abandoned, I guess, at some point. So mainframe is hiding out in some sort of a derelict settlement in deep space. Let's roll the name of it on the settlement names. She's going to have to find this settlement. So let's roll the name of it. So this is called Wellspring. And this is a derelict settlement. So there was something called Wellspring that was built in deep space. That was maybe it was built a long time ago before these other worlds were colonized. And it's somewhere out in deep space. She's going to have to find it. And then she's going to have to look for mainframe in this settlement. And going to have to like sort of delve it. So I feel like at this point, this is another vow. Or should we upgrade this thing to a formidable vow? So should we do this in 2 vows or 1? Let me think about that. Okay, I think I'm going to do this as a second vow, and here's why. Because if I had known everything we had to do, I would have probably ranked this as a formidable vow, and then it would have been things like find Brennan, figure out where mainframe is, find mainframe, etc. I don't want to necessarily add steps that I know I've already done and then add progress. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to, for this step 1, is going to be complete the vow for, well, we'll just say find mainframe or get. Let's go back to get the location of the raider base, right? Because finding mainframe will do that. So our new vow is going to be find mainframe, right? And hopefully when we do that, that'll give us the, or let's say get the base location from mainframe. So to do that, what do we have to do? We have to find Wellspring, delve Wellspring, find mainframe, and ask for, or convince mainframe to tell us where the raiders are, right? So I think that, and there may be, you know, other steps along the way. Let's actually put this up here. So find Wellspring's location, and then navigate to Wellspring. I think that's a separate step. And then I guess find mainframe is just part of the delve, right? and then maybe do other things, and then convince mainframe to tell us where the raiders are. And I think this is, again, going to be a dangerous vow. So let me set up an icon for it, and I'll bring you right back. Okay, so Krista thanks Dash, and she finishes her drink, and she heads out of the cantina, and then she stops in the hallway where nobody's looking. She pulls her chain out and pulls the Ophion's fragment from under her shirt and puts it in her hands and says, I swear on this fragment of the Ophion that I will find mainframe and get her to tell me where the Shattered Federation's base is in this sector. And then she puts it back under her shirt, and let's swear the Iron Vow. And we get a strong hit. She's emboldened, and it's clear what she must do. Well, I think it's pretty clear what she has to do next. She's got to find out where Wellspring is. So now she needs to do that. So the question is, can she do that from her ship? Let's see. If she can't do it from her ship, I think she's going to fly maybe back to Relic and see if Zephyr knows, or Dagger. So she's going to go back to her ship, get inside, and go back to her computer, and she's going to do some research to see if there's like a historical record of where Wellspring is, right? And I think, again, this is gathering information. So she turns on the computer and she starts typing into it, and she says, let me see if I can find. So she starts doing keyword searches, history of the sector, history of Kronos Tide. Do we know where Wellspring is? Can she find this information from the computer? Or is she going to have to do more? I mean, she might actually have to go back into Deadrock in the sense that this was built from the Titan ship that colonized this area, so there might be information in the Titan ship's computers or the people who are here. But first, let's check her computer on her ship. And I don't think she has any assets to help her with this. Esoteric knowledge has secure advantage or gain ground. Now this is recalling, but so has she heard of? Well, that's a great question. Has she heard of Wellspring before? She's a lore hunter, and this is a derelict. Maybe there's even some stuff scratched on the walls of the ship by her mentor Pyro in his weird symbols that actually tells her where it is or gives her some information. I actually think that's a pretty cool idea. She's a lore hunter. So she's using esoteric knowledge to secure advantage. So let's see if she's heard of it before. If she knows something about it, right? So let's secure advantage, and if she has heard of it before, then we'll maybe give her a little bit of information about it, like maybe she knows the condition of it, and maybe even a sense of where it is. Let's see how we do on the securing advantage. So she's gonna think back. Have I heard of this before? Before she starts to do her search, what does she know about it? And that we're rolling wits, and we get a strong hit. So we get 2 momentum. We had +1 on this as well, but so we have strong hit, and we have plus 2 momentum. And we had +1 on our next move, which to gather information. So yes, she has heard about Wellspring. So first of all, I think she's going to know the condition of it. She's heard about it enough to know what condition it's in. So what condition is it in? It has limited power, right? So this is a settlement that was founded a long time ago and I guess has been abandoned, and so the power is limited. It's not fully powered. There are some solar panels that are still working. It might be possible that there's some life support on in the station, right? So she's not going to necessarily need her environmental suit, but it's operating on low power mode, auxiliary power, etc. So she's heard about it, and she probably has some idea of doing keyword searches and stuff. So she gets +1 to her next move. So let's gather information and see if she knows. And I think what she's actually doing here is she's remembering that there's something scratched on the wall about it. And what we want to see is, can she decipher the scratch on the wall that Pyro made in this section where he was writing about Wellspring. Can she do that? So that's gather information, and she's gathering it at +1 because she remembers there was some information here, right? So we're rolling plus wits, and we're rolling plus wits +1, right? Because she made this other move. And how do we do? Is she able to translate? Yes, she is. Strong hit. So we get specific information. So Krista looks. She goes down the hallway. And let's go ahead and pull the map up. Right in the hallway here. All along this corridor are scratched maps and other symbols that Pyro put on the ship. And she walks along, and somewhere along the way here, she finds his record of Wellspring. And so I'm just quickly filling this in here, and this is going to be Wellspring info. Wellspring map to Wellspring, or like let's just call it Wellspring data. So she finds here a little map, a bit of a star chart, and some other information that tells her exactly where to look for Wellspring. Now, there's no pre-made path through the drift, so we're going to have to undertake a journey. But she now knows where Wellspring is. So where are we going to put it on here? I think if we generate a new object, we may not keep it, but if we create an actor and we create just a location, right? I think it'll randomly put it on. Oh yes, derelict, perfect. So random location is the derelict, and the type of derelict, so it's in deep space, and this is Wellspring. And let's go ahead and see where it put it. Did it put it out on the map? It did not. So let's see. All right, so it didn't randomly generate it on the map. So let's see. I'm going to divide this into sections, and I'll bring you back and we'll randomly roll where Wellspring is. All right, so I've divided it into 8 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's roll 1d8 and see which section it's in. 8, so down here at the bottom. All right, so I'll bring you back after I fix this up a little bit. Okay, so there are only so many whole hexes in here. Starting from the right and going backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then back down 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're going to roll 1d14. And we get an 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's right down here. So let me delete that. And so let me go to the actors and grab Wellspring and drop it. So Wellspring is our new derelict, and that is where she has to go. She's going to have to undertake a journey to Wellspring to get there. So let's check her vow here, right? Find Wellspring's location. We just did it. So we will strike that through and mark progress. So now she knows where to go to find this character. And I'll fix this all up and put all the stats on Wellspring and everything in between time because I don't want to waste your time on that. And I think this is a good place to stop. We now know where she has to go. She has to get on her ship, or she's on her ship. She has to launch off from Dead Rock and go over to Wellspring, which is a derelict. And so that's looking pretty cool. Until next time, guys, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been Starforged Alpha Cluster.